Howdy frienderinos, welcome to the latest episode of Hot News. It's Thursday according to my official sources. We got information about you might want to check on your PS5's fans. You also might want to look at whether or not you've upgraded to the latest version of iOS because yikes, zero-click exploits exist, as well as a VR headset that can do 1440p on each eye at 180 Hz. Holy crap, we're going to get into all of that after we talk about today's episode sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Chirp, and more specifically, their Wheel Plus. This little ring-looking doodad is perfect for making sure that you stretch your back in the way that you need. It helps to alleviate lower back pain, upper back pain, neck pain, all of that, because with its innovative design and its spinal canal, it'll keep your spine safe from unwanted pressure and allow you to actually stretch your back in a way that feels good and appropriate. It comes in 3 different sizes. You have the gentle, the medium, and the deep tissue. The Chirp Wheel Plus is definitely my go-to product for relieving my back pressure as well as stretching before and after exercises. My wife loves it too, so check it out at the link in the video description if you're interested. Now let's go ahead and talk about PlayStation 5s being hot and loud, and apparently not all PS5s are created equal, and upon various teardowns that are now happening now that they're more out in the wild, we found that there are 2 different fans that produce 2 different noise profiles, which means if you get the one that has fewer fans on the rotation blade, well then you're going to be stuck with the louder console, than being measured as a difference of 43 decibels to 39 decibels, which apparently makes a slight hissing and squeaking noise, not just like a higher you would expect from a fan. And so you can see here the difference between A, which has 23 fan blades, and B, which has 17. And wouldn't you know it, that my PlayStation 5 that I have right here, I counted my fan blades on the interior, and I have the 17 fan blade version. However, I did notice that like I don't have the weird noises that they're talking about. Mine actually is surprisingly quiet, but it might be a matter of time before mine starts to make the noise, and you just potentially may have to watch out for that one. Do you have a PlayStation 5? Are you interested in checking the fans? Do you know already because you've already heard your PS5? But this is just to go with the old adage of don't buy anything on launch day, because invariably there will be issues. The PS4 Pro launch model sounded like a rocket ship anytime you turned it on, and Sony subsequently fixed that with each iteration of the PS4 Pro. But apparently, a lot of people didn't get the memo to not buy things at launch, because the PlayStation 5 is now the UK's fastest selling console ever, beating out the previous record from the PS4, which was 250,000 sales. There's no official figure just yet, but apparently VGC is saying that the PS5 has completely destroyed the 250,000 benchmark, which really, that many people got their hands on one? Do you know what I had to do to get my PS5?
Is anybody else interested in swapping their PS5 pre-order for a gaming PC?
Unspeakable things. And this is actually something unspeakable. Not only does Microsoft give you games for free technically on Xbox Game Pass, but now they allow you to preload free games before the date that they come available. Actually, I have this set up right now. So as of when you're watching this, Dragon Quest XI will be coming out on Game Pass, and they offer you the option to pre-install it ahead of time. I did that. My Dragon Quest is installed. Is it in focus? I don't know if it's in focus. So Microsoft allowing you to preload games that you don't even technically own. Good guy, Microsoft. Which, not good guy, Rockstar, because the Red Dead Online is now getting its own separate game, which you have to buy for $5 if it's not already included in Red Dead Redemption 2. But then on top of that, like, you would think that if they split it off into its own game and you just want the original game, that'd be totally fine. But I read the download is something like 25 gigabytes bigger than just getting Red Dead Redemption 2, which is insane. What is this? The $5 is an introductory price, by the way, until midway through February, at which point they're going to jack it up to $20 in case you want to play Red Dead Online, which from everything I gather is like way worse than GTA Online. So is this really the strategy you should be taking, Rockstar? I'm not so sure. But Pimax is sure that they just want to keep pushing the boundaries of VR headsets with their VR headset that has 2 2560 by 1440p eyes running at 180 hertz. This thing is insane, going for $750 for just the headset. In case you're interested, we'll leave a link in the video description for the Vision 5K Super. Holy crap. Speaking of holy crap, Salesforce bought Slack for $27.7 billion. Slack, which is an application used by a lot of different companies for intercompany communication, which started out as a video game in-chat client, which is really weird. Now at $27.7 billion, which, just to put that into perspective, NVIDIA acquired ARM for $40 billion. And that's like a physical product that like Apple uses to destroy everybody. Speaking of Apple, their MagSafe Duo chargers are now available for purchase for $129 in case you're so interested. Now shipping, not unlike the AirPower, which they announced and just never came out with, which this may never come out, but there's new rumors coming out that Apple might be releasing 2 mini LED MacBooks next year and a more affordable MacBook Air in 2022. So not only is the M1 exciting on the new MacBooks, but we might also potentially be getting a new display upgrade as well. But you might want to upgrade your iOS because there was an exploit on the iPhone which gave hackers control of your phone over Wi-Fi without your input. Apparently, it had to do with networking protocols that were used for features like AirDrop. It has since been patched, but if you were on iOS 13.3.1 or previous, you're still potentially vulnerable for that. But that, I mean, this has been patched months ago, so you're not likely to be at risk of this, but it's still a thing that you might want to consider, which you don't want to consider Facebook Libra because primarily it's gone. It's dead. There is no Facebook Libra anymore. In case you're not familiar, Libra is the cryptocurrency platform that Facebook and a consortium of other companies were set to launch, but then a lot of the people in the consortium dropped out, leaving Facebook being like, what's going on? And the regulations been tight. Well, they released a statement yesterday in which they said that they are now the Diem Association. Yes, forget Libra, Carpe Diem, my friends. Not really clear why the name change had to happen. I'm sure it's some weird vision meeting that they had behind the scenes amongst the executives trying to determine how to stay hip and relevant and to communicate that they want to be known as things that happen daily somehow. I don't know. This is probably going to fall apart real quick if you're changing names this soon in the game and not really even launching your original plan. Well, I mean, I'll hold out hope, but, you know, it's not boding well for Libra Diem. And it's also not boding well that you can get on any platform that doesn't have stories. Obviously, Twitter recently rolled out stories known as fleets, and Spotify now testing them, especially with their 2020 Wrapped, which is basically just a preview of all of the music that you listened to over the last year. I especially really love it because it allows me to know what I already know, but I can see it. But now they're trying it in a new stories format, which just, we don't need stories on a music app. Please stop. Okay, I guess Spotify's not just a music app anymore. It's also for podcasts, which Amazon's getting heavier into. There's now information swirling the internet that they're going to be potentially buying the podcast network Wondery. Apparently, it's going to be going for $300 million, which likely will mean that when you start seeing Audible sponsorships around YouTube, they're going to start pushing you towards their podcast version of everything they have going on, because Audible does have podcasts. I had no idea until recently, and then I see it, and now they're trying to compete against Spotify. So expect YouTube sponsorships to focus more on the podcast version of Audible in the future, which you can listen to on Samsung's Galaxy Buds Pros, which have a new look. They're not beans anymore. They're just normal looking earbuds. This got leaked from an FCC documentation, which shows that it should have a larger 500 milliamp hour battery in the case and don't look like beans. Delicious. Which is what AIs say about humans. And an AI is now driving Alphabet's Project Loon, which is the balloon project that's delivering internet to Kenya right now. They are using an AI system for reinforcement learning to actually steer where the balloons go as opposed to humans and algorithms. Ugh. Gross. AI is the way of the future. And the moon is where we're going to have to go in order to escape the AI, at least temporarily, and then we're going to have to, go to Uranus for that. But China is sending back full color images from their moon lander. You can check it out here. There is a video that we've left linked in the video description in case you want to see that lander happening on the moon. And I'm going to moonwalk out of this to get my Chirp wheel to remind you that today's video is sponsored by Chirp. Check them out at the link in the video description if you care about taking care of your back, stretching, which is incredibly important. Even if you don't work out, just having limberness in your body, very enjoyable. Okay, so stretch, number one, but then number two, maybe try it with the Chirp wheel. Links in the video description for that. And with that being said, I'm Brett with the Hot News channel. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in tomorrow's episode of whatever is going on in the tech world. Cheers.